Hush Fluffles. Play the good stuff.
Hey all, I'm here with a shorter video today just providing my thoughts on Season 2 of Final Space and all that it entails. I have been genuinely excited to know what happens next in this new season ever since episode 10 of the first season ended on such a gigantic cliffhanger. What discovered Gary? What happened to Quinn? Is the Earth doomed? How is the Lord Commander reacting to all of this? Etc, etc. Ultimately, that's what Season 2 is here to deliver, and oh boy has it delivered so far. Just be warned that there will be minor spoilers ahead, so view at your own risk, although I won't be going into too much detail beyond the basics, so no need to worry if you haven't seen Season 2 yet. However, before I jump into all of that, Amino recently rolled out their new Stories feature, where you can go and watch quick, exciting, and creative videos on practically any topic you can think of. Once you've downloaded the Amino app, simply tap the Discover tab on the bottom left of the screen, and you're there. You can search anything you want, including my user profile, Shadowstreak, which is where I've been posting some stories of my own. I've already done a story on 4 underrated Powerpuff Girls villains, but I've since added 2 more stories featuring upcoming cartoons that I'm really looking forward to in 2019 and 2020. These are exclusive videos that I will not be uploading to YouTube, so you don't want to miss them. Just click the link in the description or the pinned comment below, or download the app in order to gain full access to my stories and many others over on Amino. As many of you may recall from a video I made about a year ago, Final Space was one of my absolute favorite cartoons to come out in 2018 because of its sheer uniqueness compared to most other animated series that are out right now. It's a serialized space drama starring Gary and his ragtag crew of aliens, robots, and mythical beings as they travel the universe in search of final space. The ending of the first season resulted in Quinn attempting to sacrifice herself and the Earth getting taken by a Titan, with Gary supposedly dying alone in the cold depths of space after failing to save Earth. It's no secret that Season 2 picks right back up where Season 1 left off, so it's not really much of a spoiler to say that Gary doesn't die, because like, how could the show go on if he did? But yeah, so far from what we've seen, this season definitely has its fair share of twists and creative episode plots that really showcase the talent of the writers behind this show. Season 1 had a lot of nifty episode ideas like Gary harnessing a star, getting trapped in a mind puzzle, and even meeting a Titan that provides us with an incredible backstory for Gary's character. So far, Season 2 is continuing onward in this creativity department. The first episode features Gary reuniting with a lot of the same crew who have all managed to survive the battle with the Lord Commander, including Little Kato, Kevin, and Hugh. There's also the return of Clarence, who now owns Gary and crew thanks to the intergalactic legislation that rules anything recovered in the wreckage of the battle with the Lord Commander belongs to the individual who finds them. So yeah, it turns out Gary was rescued because Clarence here discovered him floating in the reaches of space and just so happened to pick him up. I really enjoyed this first episode because it wastes no time in getting back into the action too. We spend a little time to reconvene with everyone and introduce a few new characters, then it's off to the high-speed space race. Speaking of new characters, we've got Clarence's children, Ash and Fox.
We were adopted! Which means it hurts my feelings when people run away from me without giving me a chance.
Fox, as you can see in this clip, is an adopted, buff, chain gun-armed alien guy, and Ash is a telekinetic, dark magic wielder who's honestly my favorite character in the show. Like, don't get me wrong, Mooncake will always have a special place in my heart, but I find Ash's dark magic wielding and quiet yet fierce personality makes her really likable. Plus her offhand comments tend to put a smile on my face.
I sensed that you're in danger.
Do you ever sense that I'm in danger?
I don't really think about you.
Episode 3 gives her a nifty little backstory while simultaneously providing a lot of future potential growth in her character. I genuinely cannot wait to see where else she will go in season 2. This season also got a nifty new intro, a much better improvement when compared to season 1. I didn't outright dislike the season 1 opening, but it did feel a little out of place compared to everything else in the show. Thankfully, season 2 presents us with a brand new intro that features the characters running through their new ship, with a brief moment getting dedicated to each one. All of the main characters are still seen, the theme song remains as great as ever, and the animation is as smooth as can be. And that's one aspect of Final Space that I am so glad hasn't changed. The animation is silky smooth and the characters are clean as can be. It's incredible just how buoyant they look when they're in motion. Truly great work by Shadow Machine here. I've even noticed some improvements with season 2, like I love the way the giant snakehead moves in episode 3 for example. It's so seamless. Episode 1 doesn't hold back. As I said, it jumps us straight into some action with this planetary space race known as the Toro Regatta, which incorporates more 3D models in the form of ships and the like with the 2D characters. Unlike a lot of shows where the 2D and 3D mesh can kinda stick out a little too much if used at the wrong time, Final Space manages to blend the two together in a way that makes it look so much better, I find, at least from what I've seen. At the end of this episode, we also find out the main overarching plot of this season, namely that Gary needs to find 5 keys in order to unlock Bolo from his chamber so that he can access Final Space and Gary can rescue Quinn again. Bolo is the same Titan he met in season 1, in case you don't remember. Thus, the following episodes will focus on getting these MacGuffins in order to achieve that goal. It's a basic structure when you think about it, but it's all about the journey, and I mean, hey, I've never had any issue with collectathon stories like this because typically it implies that there's going to be a lot of different and unique scenarios that can be found within each and every one. Plus I'm a Sonic fan, so most 3D games with the Chaos Emeralds are just like this. I'm actually a very big fan of this kind of story because it's the execution that ultimately matters here, and as long as it's kept interesting with new environments and things like that, I am totally okay with it. So far this season has definitely had some interesting ideas at play. The second episode starts off a little rough, I'll admit, with this whole urine battle sequence that I didn't really care for. This kind of humor isn't what I'm looking for in this show, so it didn't really mesh well, I feel, and it was kind of off-putting, but it wasn't a deal breaker because honestly, once this moment passed, the show made up for it with its cool, happy dream world premise.
And another huggle for you?
You want a huggle?
You wanna die?
Without spoiling too much, the basic synopsis for the episode is that Gary visits this happy place where these fuzzy, happy, wilt-looking creatures put him into a lethargic slumber where his happiest dreams come true. It kinda gave me Matrix vibes, especially with the whole feeding off of the life force thing, and the twist at the end actually introduces us to this Red character who I really hope we get to see more of. I really like his creepy smile design with the eyes because it reminds me a lot of the Tails doll from Sonic again, ironically enough. Overall, this is definitely an enjoyable episode.
Who wants a chewy mind bendy or a super smile gooey ball?
What flavor?
Lemon?
I'm good.
Then comes episode 3, which, as I mentioned before, is Ash's backstory, as well as the journey for the characters to get the second of the 5 keys. I don't want to say it's my favorite of the season when we're only 3 episodes in, so I'll just say it's the one I like the most as of this video's upload. Of course, that's totally subject to change as more episodes proceed to come out, and unfortunately that's going to date this video, but hey, it is what it is. I honestly couldn't wait until the end of the season to talk about this anyways, and I really want to encourage you guys to give this show a chance if you haven't already, because it's one of my favorites that's out right now. What I love most about Final Space is that it's unlike any other series that's out at this current time. Sure, it's got sci-fi elements, and you can find those in other shows like Steven Universe and Rick and Morty, but Final Space is all about traversing the universe and discovering new environments with limitless ideas. It's got just the right balance of action, drama, and comedy rolled up into one complete package, and I honestly cannot sing its praises enough. Now, sure, no show is perfect, but I find the writing for a lot of the characters is much more enjoyable this time around. Kevin especially grew on me with the way he answered the riddles in episode 3.
What is blue on the belly, coated with jelly, happens to be quite the smelly jelly, but often quite smitten with Shelley.
Got it. A cloud.
How the hell did... Correct.
I never found him totally annoying, but he wasn't my favorite character in season 1. This kinda won me over though, for sure. I can definitely see in just the first few episodes that Olin Rogers most definitely took the criticism he received to heart when writing for season 2. Now sure, here and there are moments that I don't really care for, again such as the urine fight at the beginning of the second episode, but that's bound to happen. Not everything is going to appeal to everybody. And for me, it's only minor things like that that really catch my eye, which I'm totally willing to overlook for the greater narrative. The pacing of the episodes here have all flowed well so far. I was constantly on the edge of my seat, eager to see the next episode. Ah man, that's the hardest part about new shows you love, right? The wait. And man, is it tough with Final Space. I hear episode 4 is supposed to be where the season really gets good according to Olin's Twitter, so I'm getting more and more excited with each passing moment. And that's about where I currently stand with Final Space at this point in time. Definitely loving the season so far, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. But what about you guys? If you're keeping up with the show, let me know what you think. And if you haven't checked it out yet, hopefully this video will convince you otherwise. But yeah, that about does it for my thoughts on season 2 as of now. I'll be sure to continue sharing my thoughts on Twitter as more episodes get released, so consider following me there if you want more updates on my thoughts of season 2. I've also got a Twitch account, Patreon, and a Discord server, so if any of those things interest you, then please check those out as well. I'd love to hear more from you guys. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.